We do have to officially begin the first alignment period. I know many
we're
of you
here in
have
Drake
already
University
found your way to your
for
preferred
a satellite
location,
caucus, which is a
we will
caucus
have a 5-minute
that is
alignment
happening
period.
before
If you
the
happen
7
to
o'clock
be where you
p.m.
want
ones.
to
We're
be
in a
already,
field house at
I
Drake
would
University.
ask that you orient yourselves into lines of 10.
So over here are the
so
Warren
that
supporters.
we can make the counting process faster. So
And then
take
over
this
here
5-minute
are your Bernie people. And that's it. Like I don't see anybody else who will be. Oh wait, here's somebody else. Who is this? Oh, there's Mayor Pete's crew right here. Here we got Tom Steyer with 0. Joe Biden with maybe this guy is a Joe Biden person. Or maybe he's just with the crew. So yeah, it doesn't look very close here. Oh, Michael Bennett right here. Here's the High Hopes crew. Unclear if we're going to get a dance from the Mayor Pete folks. Tommy, are we going to get a dance, you think, from the Mayor Pete crowd?
With any luck.
And there's a rumor that Big Structural Bailey will be.
I think,
it's next? No,
he couldn't make it.
kill that rumor before it goes viral.
We got stood up.
Yeah.
He had a play date.
So what are we looking at? Does that look like 15% to you?
I don't know. Did you get a count over there on what their number was?
Right. And so to be clear, the rules here are that if somebody is under 15%, they don't get any points, and then you can either go home frustrated or you can switch to somebody who does have 15%. The Pete crew looks under 15%. Is that a Biden guy or is that like some? I love that if that's a Biden guy. he's holding strong.
Well dressed.
That's a Biden guy? Okay. We do have one Joe Biden person at Drake University. I think Warren might have 15. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be close.
It's going to be tight.
It's going to be tight.
Yeah. It's going to be tight on that.
So while we're waiting, if anybody has any questions, you can try to feel free to put them in the whatever this scrolling comment section thing is. Oh wait, Yang Gang. Bloomberg. So first we have Tulsi Gabbard, who actively did not participate in Iowa. She's put all her eggs in the New Hampshire bucket. In the back here we've got Yang. Deval Patrick. Where's Deval Patrick? There's 0 in other. And here's Klobuchar. Unclear if this is a Klobuchar supporter. Klobuchar supporter?
Just me.
Just you?
I'm trying to put myself in groups of 10, and it's hard.
Will you?
I'll wait till the second round and then go somewhere.
Who do you
else.
think you'll go to?
Well, I'm not going to tell. It'll destroy the whole thing.
You'll lose all your leverage.
Yeah. I'm going to see if anybody has cookies. I've gotten cookies in the past. Or a few kind words.
So, Iowa corruption at play.
This is my first time in Des Moines, but I recall an earlier caucus, I got a piece of pie our group when we switched.
Nice. What kind of pie do you remember?
No. So,
It's worth it, though, I assume.
well, it's just all in fun. I mean, you come with a. I've learned enough now to come with a second choice.
Right.
So.
Klobuchar supporter who's waiting to find out who's in second, and then he'll go realign himself with one of the people who are more viable. Oh, that's okay. There's the Yang Gang. You want to go ask them if they're going to do the same? Let's go ask.
Yeah. So we're in like the field house. Everyone's behind
Right.
this little astroturf.
Hi, Yang Gang?
Yang Gang.
Okay, we have 3 Yang, we're doing a podcast, so that's why I'm describing what I'm looking at, which might sound. So we have 3 Yang supported here. So after the first round, who do you think you'll realign to?
Well, someone just brought up a good point that maybe some people will come over here if there's unviables.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm going to Warren.
Okay. How about you?
For me, I'm not too sure yet, but I'm kind of leaning towards Bernie for this.
Well, initially I was going to realign to Klobuchar, but given that there's one person there, that might not happen now. So I might go to Biden. Biden or Pete.
What do you like about Biden?
I just think he has a lot of experience.
Please go ahead and start writing down your
And
first
he's still
preference.
more of a
Thank you.
moderate candidate than a lot of
three of you?
the other candidates in the race.
Thank you.
What do you like about Yang?
I think he's one of the most genuine candidates, but he also has real practical solutions to problems, and of course he's an outsider too. So I think he can really reach across the aisle with Republicans, but also bring in business leaders, community leaders, and make solutions that work for everyone.
Definitely genuine. What about you? What do you like about Yang?
Definitely his genuinity. I think his vision of, not left, not right, but forward, just still progressive. There is still a viewed, divisiveness of the other progressive candidates, which, we just need a change of direction regardless. So, you have to weigh the balances, but that's really what put Yang over the top for me.
If Warren winds up not being viable in the end, what do you think about Bernie? Are you somebody who's like?
I'd have to
Warren
think
and Bernie
about
are
it.
Similar or no? What are your reservations?
There is just the perception, and honestly, it has maybe probably gotten to me as a voter. This is my first time voting in a presidential election, first time caucusing. So, thinking about, I tried not to succumb to the electability debate. And, I was just like, I like Yang. He may not be the most popular, other people's first choice, but in this case, he's mine. So
Right.
I'm going to go forward with it. But, yeah, kind of just those perceptions in the news and stuff. I just have to think about it for a
Sure.
second.
Yeah. And then you're Bernie. If this stuff Yang doesn't.
Yeah, so getting back to the question beforehand, I support Yang because I really like both his practical policies and his philosophy of humanity first. And I think that, if unfortunately, if Yang doesn't end up turning viable in this election, then I probably wouldn't go Bernie because I find that in his demeanor, kind of general philosophy, he and Yang are somewhat similar in that regard. And I just think that in terms of that, that's what I really look for in a candidate. So that's why I would go Bernie.
Gotcha. It's pretty interesting, yeah. So 3 Yang supporters, one would go Biden-ish, maybe, or
Biden.
Klobuchar, because Klobuchar's
Yeah.
not viable anymore. One Warren, one Sanders.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
But we'll see. Maybe a bunch of Pete people will come over here. I don't see Pete Yang overlap, but you never
It's
know.
almost like Warren Yang.
Yeah.
Maybe those are just because those are my two choices. I mean, you have to be aware of your own biases, but I think Warren supports considering universal basic income. I think they align on some things.
And they both have made smart cool. Like
Yes.
that's kind of
Yeah,
if there's
like
an overlap
her-
between. Yeah.
math and her Harvard experience definitely puts her in that position.
Can I get y'all to introduce yourselves? Is it just go down the line?
Sure. I'm Tom.
Sarah.
Kaler.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. What
Thanks,
podcast?
guys.
I was gonna say, where
The
can we hear it?
Intercepted.
The Intercept.
On,
Oh, seriously?
Yeah?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'm a journalism student.
oh, awesome.
That'd be so cool.
Awesome. Good. We need more reporters in this world.
Right? I really want to do investigative.
And you guys are all students here? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is the Young Turks. So it's like a little combination going on.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
So that was the Yang Gang. so here's the Warren crew.
What's up, TYT?
Is it TYT?
This is TYT. You say hi.
TYT.
All right. Should we keep this rolling, guys, or because you want to find out who's going to win? I think a lot of thumbs up. Yeah. All right, fine. I'll keep it rolling. My arm is going to get tired eventually.
I'll hold it.
Klobuchar.
That's Klobuchar. Great. Thank you.
You guys gunning for the Klobuchar? Do you think this is enough for viability? You're viable. Okay. All right. So Warren is viable.
Yeah.
In this caucus. Oh, 11. So does Pete have 11?
I don't think so.
And the girl in the pink doesn't count.
She's not even 10 over there.
Right, so Pete is not viable, so that means
No one.
Pete and the one Klobuchar and the Yang will be up for grabs. Now,
Yeah.
Yang could try to get the Pete people over, but
Right.
if you're for Pete, I don't see a whole lot of jumping over to Yang.
I think so. No, I'm not
We'll have to
seeing
see what
that.
happens. I'm just going to describe the space.
I think Pete would go to Biden, right?
Yeah, but there's only one dude with Biden, so Pete,
Biden's gonna go Pete.
it still doesn't do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so
Pete's close. Pete's close.
even Pete and Buttigieg together don't have 11, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Where are Yang's people gonna go over there?
Oh, one Yang person said he was pro-Biden. And if they could get the Klobuchar person, then they would have bare minimum viability.
Say that again?
So they have 8 right now.
Who?
Buttigieg has 8. So if they can pick up the Biden guy, if they can talk the Yang person who likes Biden into doing Pete instead, and also offer pie and cookies to the Klobuchar guy,
Right.
which he said he's bribable with pie, then that would give them 11, and that would hit them. That would hit the threshold. But he's a Biden guy, he's not a Buttigieg guy, so they'd have to work him pretty hard. Now, what you used to be able to do is there was a thing called remainders. So if you only counted in 5s, so if you had 18 people, 3 were free to like go somewhere else. And then you could strategically say, well, I want to boost Biden, so I'll go over and help Biden. You can't do that anymore. So, in other words, it's extremely important for the Sanders people to be able to draw people on the second round, not just to increase their own numbers, but to keep the other candidates from becoming viable. So, like, they could keep if they can win a bunch of the realignments on the second round, then Pete can't reach the threshold of viability.
You live too?
Yeah. Here's Nico Pitney with Now This News.
Hey, where are we streaming?
This is TYT.
Oh, all right. We're simulcasting.
Yes, we're
Well, now
No,
this
the internet's
this
gonna
is-
break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You've ruined it. This is Ryan Grimm from The Intercept. How you doing?
pretty good. Yeah, we'll do a double interview.
So yeah. What do you? You've been around Iowa today. What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
Well, we went by the CCI Action Fund office this morning, which is the biggest grassroots group in Iowa, progressive grassroots, that endorsed Bernie Sanders in December. Has a dues-paying member in every one of the 99 counties. It has more than 5,000 members who basically have become foot soldiers on the campaign. So just having 5,000 dedicated people like that alone was a huge win for Sanders. This is not the kind of typical election where you can say before work there was a rush and at lunch and a bunch of people and it trickled off, because that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Like it's just our
right,
podcast
everyone,
producers at
thank
the
you
Intercept
for your
went to
patience.
Ottumwa, town of 25,000, and there were 50.
So we have 2
People at a work
groups
caucus
that are
that
viable
won
after
4
the
delegates.
first alignment.
It's just the
Bernie Sanders
Which
and Elizabeth Warren. If your group is not viable, then you have several choices now. You can join a viable group being Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders. The non-viable groups can join together to make a viable group, or you can choose not to realign. Any questions about your options? If you choose not to realign,
Here goes Klobuchar Nation. What are you going to do? What are you thinking?
I'm joining Warren.
Klobuchar to Warren.
Good choice.
All right,
good
so
choice.
so Klobuchar's guy going to Warren is actually a blow to Pete, because that's harder now for Pete to become viable. Now this what you're watching now is going to replicate itself a couple thousand times throughout the night tonight, as people move around these gymnasiums around Iowa. So here's some lobbying of the Yang Gang.
Hi, Sarah. Vision, practical.
With me, I'm coming over from Biden. I'm the sole Biden.
All right.
Oh, sure.
What
Right?
kind of issues do you care about? What attracts you to
So I
Yang?
did the math.
Well,
right?
to me
And-
personally, what
and
attracts
what
me
I
to
know
Yang,
is
I love his philosophy of humanity first, and I really love his practical policies that support that. So, I think that if I were to choose another candidate, I would like one who one is like
Inequality is addressed head on and has a
I can live
very
with
general
you.
population, and I also want policies
How do you feel about
that are
caucusing
not
with
only
us?
great in theory,
I'm
but
thinking.
also
I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna see if we can maybe form a coalition to get Yang in there.
not
Otherwise,
really.
Warren's
I mean, I guess
Sure. What's
right
most
now,
important to
maybe,
you?
maybe
I mean, I try not to just single out one issue. Honestly, I think because you're not a one-issue person, right?
Yeah, that's the great thing. That's
Sure.
Elizabeth Warren has a broad set of policies, a lot of approaches, and she's got a lot of different ways to kind of tackle all of the different problems that we have. I mean, she's got a plan for everything.
And I will also say Bernie has a 30-year consistency track record of standing behind bold progressive policies, even when they weren't popular or politically expedient.
Yeah.
So you can trust that what we say, we're going to follow through.
exactly.
Right. And honestly, I mean, in this race, I feel like there's plenty of candidates I could trust versus others. So good position to be in, right? Right. Yeah. So.
If you care about someone who's going to stand up for
Yeah. I don't. We'll see. So let me ask you, what attracted you to Yang? Why Yang for you? Mostly the vision. I mean, I felt like he was very, very genuine in his policies
Alright.
and what motivated him. So yeah, I really like obviously the policies as well. I felt like I just was
kind of about it.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it was really his vision that moved me over. And I think
Looks like Bernie just peeled off a Yang Gang.
I'd like to come with Warren. Let's go.
And Warren got the remaining Yang Gang supported. Did not go to Pete. So they did talk that Biden supporter into going to join Pete. So that puts Pete one short of viability. They're going to have to try to beg a Warren person to go over to become viable. They need one more.
You need one more? One more. Yeah, he committed to Warren, and then it was Yang, and then was there anyone else from any other?
Who are your Yang people? Are they?
One just went with Sanders, and the other one's with Warren.
So you split out either of them?
Yeah.
So they're all gone.
There's no chance we can get either of them. And then there's no one else to pull
No one
from,
else to
right?
pull from.
I think that's it.
Has three. So Bernie and Warren won all of these voters. Are you guys staying or are you going to move?
I'm not caucusing.
You're not caucusing. You're caucusing.
Yes.
Are you going to go to Warren?
I think I'm going to stay here for now.
You're going to stay here for now. You're going to try and convince some Sanders and Warren people to come here?
Hopefully.
And if it doesn't happen, what are you going to do?
Yeah, they can't move.
They can't move. Oh, so you're trying
We
to
have to get out
convince
those 5 or 6.
that
up
one Biden guy and
I
those
know.
3 Yang guys.
Yes.
So let me. You are the Biden.
And
All right. So you're going to
It's
stay
wild.
here with Buttigieg.
Well, not if it's not viable.
So if it's not viable, where are you going?
Definitely Warren over Sanders.
Definitely
I can't
Warren over
stand
Sanders. You can't stand Sanders. What about
Same.
you? All right. So if all of the Buttigieg people make this,
So they're one. Pete Buttigieg is people are one.
No, but like, is there literally no one else we can pull from?
And if they don't
And there's no
get
way.
there, then they
Yeah,
vote for
guys.
And
And so now they're
Yeah,
deciding, do they
there was like 4 of
go
them,
over
right, on
with
the other
Warren,
side?
or do they go over with Bernie?
Oh, there's
Because
only
those
one.
are the only
There's only one on
viable
Caucus?
options at this point. This guy in the suit just said
Hey, Jared, excuse me.
that he would go over Warren before Bernie because he can't stand him. So those are the decisions that people are making right now. With the Yang thing, what happened to the Yang thing? So with Yang, there were 3 Yang folks. The Pete people talked to Biden. Remember the person who liked Biden? They talked him in to coming over to Pete. The Warren people peeled off the Warren folks. And the Bernie people peeled off the Bernie folks. And they had to do some lobbying and work it. So they split those 3 up. Klobuchar person went over to Warren, which was a blow to the Buttigieg.
Oh, yeah. He said he's with Warren.
That's what's so funny. Like if that dude had wandered over to Buttigieg instead of Warren, they're viable now. Now they're not, and so now they have to decide, okay, we're not viable in this round, so either we're going to just not be viable or we go somewhere else.
Okay, I saw you come in, you sit behind the big
And if they run out of time, they're both just not
We are one short of being viable. Yep, but there's not really anyone to recruit. That's just such an
It is absurd.
Oh,
And it's
no,
like
definitely.
it's not normal, and it's funny because this is 4:30, and it's one of the only ones happening. And so all of
Okay, where do you want to go?
So at 7 o'clock, when there are more than 1,000 happening in the States, this one looked but it was insane watching all of these cameras and lights around this kid over there who was like hanging around the gang and got people tugging at him to go over Bernie and but it's not normal. It's not going to happen tonight. I mean, it'll happen at a few caucuses, but the average voter has as much chance of that happening to them in Iowa as getting struck by lightning. Even though we're the lightning.
Where are you deciding right now? Where are you?
Yeah. It is. It is. And here's an upside of Bernie winning the Iowa caucus. The party would probably move to Bannon. Why? Because the leftists really win the caucus. Oh, Rokon is here. Let's. Oh yeah, there's Rokana over here with the Bernie people.
I know you've been crisscrossing the state. What have you seen today? Where have you been? What are you up to?
I've been all over the state, and I've just seen people packed, people coming here, not just from all over Iowa, but all over the country, and frankly from all over the world. And Bernie Sanders has touched the nerve, and Iowa has touched the nerve of all this nation around the world for a more just planet, for a planet that's at peace, for a planet that's going to tackle climate change, as a candidate of first election.
Tonight, was it a blowback from part of the party? What's your case to them? We were at the Biden rally yesterday. Their main case was about candidates that they, Iowa's here, all the regional seats, they needed someone other than Bernie to make it.
Bernie be strong. 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 Bernie be strong.
And ultimately, we have
Thanks. Any other sort of insights you've gained going around?
I just have been amazed with the passion that Bernie Sanders' supporters have for him. I mean, they're willing to knock on doors during the snowstorms. I've been out here when it's been snowing and people are going on the doors. They come from around the country. They're out there. And I think that's what's underestimated is the intensity of this support. Someone had said to me that a journalist from the Des Moines Register said that Sanders has more intense support here than even Barack Obama had. Barack Obama had the crowds and obviously inspired people, but the intensity of Sanders' supporters, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that.
Been trying to win a caucus. Hey, what's going on? Hey.
Forget your tweet.
Which one?
Oh,
we are. Oh, we'll talk about it later. Well, let me ask you an on-the-record question.
Hi, how are you?
Ro Khanna, one of the first members of Congress, is the first to endorse Bernie Sanders, co-chair of his campaign. What I'm curious about is, privately, don't tell us who, but like, what are you hearing from your colleagues? You know, in the beginning, people were like, "Oh, that's cute that Bernie Sanders is running again." Of course, it's his right. You know, he can have one last little hurrah, and he'll be done by the summer. You jumped in, you're like, "No, I'm all in here." What are people saying to you now? What are your colleagues and friends saying to you now?
More people come up to me on the floor and otherwise and say, "Wow, he's running a great campaign. Wow, you may take this." I think they're taking him a lot more seriously. In the beginning, there was sort of, Bernie's going to do his thing. No one thought he was going to be the nominee. People thought this was more a campaign that wasn't going to actually end up even in the top 3. So he's just defied the odds, and now people are realizing that he has a very, very good shot at the nomination. My argument to them is, look at these people, look at where the young folks are, look who's getting the crowd. Ultimately, it's a democracy.
Are people starting to believe that he could beat Trump? Or are they still like, well, it looks like he can win the nomination, but then we're screwed?
See, I think the people who are
And
looking at
when I say people, I mean members of Congress. And apologies to regular people.
The ones who are doing all the punditry, what do we need to do in this district and that district, they're still in the mindset of can he win. The ones who are just looking at the basic facts that everyone else is seeing, 3,000 people showing up at his rallies, a huge army of volunteers online, someone who's really mobilizing people across this country, they get the Bernie can win. I mean, ultimately, politics is about movements and inspiring people, and Bernie Sanders has done it.
You've been to an Iowa caucus before?
I have, but not since 2008.
Oh, right. Yeah. What do you think of this one?
Unbelievable. I mean, the energy, the passion. I'm so proud of the folks here.
Okay. Good to see you. I'm sure I'll see you later. Yeah. That was Ro Khanna, the congressman from California, co-chair of the Young Turks.
Hi from Iowa! Go Bernie!
So you guys are Young Turks viewers?
Young Turks, yeah. I love
Excellent.
the Young Turks. Awesome. You do a great job.
Well, how did you guys do here? What was your count?
43 out of 70. It's over 60%.
Over
right around
60%.
Yep.
Where are you from?
Here in Des Moines.
So what
Yeah.
was the reason that you guys voted at this particular caucus?
I work at Drake, so I have after parties here on campus, so I needed to vote early. I also had a friend that works for Sanders in Chicago call me and tell me the importance of coming out and turning out for the satellite caucuses. So that's why I chose this.
Did you caucus in 2016?
I didn't. We weren't living in Iowa at the time, and yeah, we weren't able to do it. This is our first caucus, but we're from Des Moines, so.
And so did Warren wind up at 40?
No, not even. Maybe 20.
Oh, because Pete was drawing away. It'd be like 60-20-0 or something.
I guess.
There's
It
only
looked like
two.
they
Warren
both
and
had
Bernie
very.
were the only ones who were viable.
Yeah,
Right.
Warren and Bernie were the only viable ones. So.
Do you know how many delegates? Is it 4 delegates?
I don't know.
It's
There's 71
hard
people
to-
here.
So it might have been less.
So we had 43 of 71.
Were you involved in any of the organizing?
No, I wasn't.
You just showed up.
But some of these gentlemen were involved in the organizing.
Guys here. They look like reluctant behind the scenes. Literally, here is the scene, and they're behind it.
Yes.
But there's no kind of cloth to like.
No pipe and drape for them.
No drape for that. Yes, to answer that question, 43 out of 71. Right. That's
Is the most important.
Right. Yeah, that's it's interesting. Pete was one vote short of being viable.
I spent all that money here in Iowa.
Maybe he'll have a big night later.
I'm working one of his bars, and he only invited 150 people to vibe at his bar.
Oh, tonight.
Yeah, it's across the street.
Did he rent a lot?
He just has 2 bartenders and a bar.
So here are the Pete.
Right. It's like so many metaphors. Go for it.
So confusing. Yeah, so Bernie picked up some Pete fans, and so yeah, so that's what's so important about keeping people under viability is that then they have to go somewhere, and when they see the momentum, like if you look in this room, you could just visualize it. You can see it. Like there's a little bit of energy over there, and then over here you've got double it. And so if you're not sure about who you're going to vote for and you like them both, you're like, you know what? Let's ride with Bernie.
So, I mean, just describe the scene as far as like people actually physically moving around the space. Did he do that already? To cross.
Yeah. Yeah, let me just, because I got...
Right, so it's a big, well, it's a field house with an AstroTurf floor, size of what, an indoor soccer field, basically.
It's a college gymnasium. There's like gymnast pads, there's
and
hurdles for track.
They're using the hurdles as the name tags for supporters to rally behind. Like there's Michael Bennett with 0 people behind them. And so after the first vote, if you're under 15%, people lobby you to come over. And if you're still under 15% at the end, your vote doesn't count. So you have to try to decide, who you dislike the least before you go home, or whether you just take your ball home.
So, but they've realigned. So like this is it. Like, right? So, there's only 2 viable candidates left.
You're right.
Correct? Actually, there's one Yang guy still standing there. He must not have.
So that's the Yang guy. So one of the Yang guys was persuaded to go join Buttigieg to try to make him viable. That failed. And so rather than then moving over to Bernie or to Warren, the Yang person just said, screw it, I'm going back to Yang and I will go down with the ship. And so after this realignment, that's it. So he's taking his vote and turning it into a goose egg. Looks like all of the Buttigieg people have realigned either to Bernie or to Warren. So Buttigieg will wind up with 0 coming out of here. Biden will wind up with 0 coming out of here.
What do you think?
In fact, everybody except Warren or Sanders will wind up with 0.
I mean, what's the median age here? It's got to be like 20.
It's mostly students. So we're at the university here, so this is Bernie country. He's got to be expected to win something like this. If he doesn't, it would be a bloodbath for him tonight. But some of the people that I talked to back here are workers at the university as well, who were told by the campaign or people around the campaign that no, it's really important that you get out to vote, because one of the women who's a bartender, works tonight, came out.
Got it. I gotta talk to more real people.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Oh.
press. I'm just like.
What's the Yeah, so
Yeah, we were.
you were originally at the Yang gang, gang camp.
Yeah.
And so what happened?
Well, what happened was is that as we saw, Andrew Yang wasn't named viable candidate, but I got to talking to some Sanders supporter that came over, and I decided that, based on Sanders' policies and his sort of demeanor and philosophies, that I think Sanders would be a good second choice for me. So that's why I decided to go with him.
You a student here?
Yes, I am. I'm a freshman.
What are you studying?
I study data analytics and economics.
And then, so this is your first presidential election?
Yeah, first time, yeah.
Yeah. It's really, how does it feel to have all these people here with like giant microphones and cameras and all your face about voting?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really expect to see so many press here. I mean, I knew that Drake does the satellite caucus in Iowa. It's like all the focus is on us for kind of our first election, but I mean, I really wasn't expecting this amount of press.
Well, when you were getting lobbied, I swear to God, there was like NBC, CNN, CBS, like all of these like lights on you. It was sort of like that movie where there's like one swing voter left in the country, the Kevin Costner movie or something. I haven't seen it, but and then I saw you kind of walk away from that, right? Was it?
The Sanders support convinced me, and there were a bunch of cameras kind of blocking the route, so I kind of asked them to leave in a nice way, and they did. So I'd say it's just a lot. I've never really experienced anything like it.
Yeah, I thought you handled it well.
And what's your, can I get your full name?
Sure, Tom.
And you're a freshman here, right?
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you, Tom. I work in so I'd like to keep that fairly private. I love that you guys do.
Okay. You want to try to get somebody else? What kind of?
I don't know. I think like.
This is basically kind of done, right?
Yeah, it's over, right? I'd like to get a tally of the delegates. Oh, here it is.
And Elizabeth Warren. As I stated, this caucus is electing 7 delegates. Bernie Sanders is awarded 5 delegates. And Elizabeth Warren is awarded 2 delegates. As this is a satellite caucus, we are not electing individual persons to serve as delegates, but if you are interested in serving as an alternate or a delegate, please come forward. We'll get your contact information so that you're made aware of the convention information. Okay, at this point, the last part of business are platform resolutions. If you're interested in participating,
2 delegates for Warren, 0 for everybody else. So Sanders nets 3 delegates out of this. And what's remarkable is that he actually netted 4 this morning at an event where there were just 14 people.
So what was
to the rest of you, I thank you for attending.
So 5 delegates for Sanders,
win back the White House
2
in
for Warren.
2020.
So he nets 3. That's actually less than he pulled out of the meatpacker caucus earlier today, where there were only 14 people.
Right, proportionally.
Right.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Sure. He got, because this is an advantage of 3 and that was an advantage of 4. Those meatpackers may go down as having the most delegates kind of per vote of anybody in the entire state, which I think is there's some justice in that. The conditions, the dangerous conditions that they work under, not just for that particular company, JBS, but all kind of meat packers and people who work in the meat processing plants, the number of injuries are extreme. One of the key reasons that they hire immigrant labor, sometimes legally, sometimes illegally, is because the conditions are so dangerous that they don't want people suing them when they get their hands covered.
on that day that were able to be outside alley. And if Bernie Sanders is elected, he's the kind of person that would do something about the multiple different questions that they're facing. Want to talk to a Warren person?
Sure.
Hey, can we grab you before you leave?
I've been.
Okay. All right. So, did you show up for Warren on first ballot?
Yep.
Okay. What do you like about Warren?
I took a long time this time to sit back. I'm a native Iowan and I've been through this process many times. And what sold me were the debates. I knew I wanted to support either senators, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, or Elizabeth Warren because of how they do the Senate. It really impresses me. I look at this as a job. And it's left, but there are many other reasons. I just think she could get the job done. And I like that there might be this, I have very conservative family members, and I kind of listen to what they're saying about Democrats. I like that she used to be a Republican, maybe could do some moderate measures.
What does your family think about Bernie Sanders? The conservative ones.
Yes, they don't think that he's a socialist, and they think that he's playing with pretend money.
Right. If Elizabeth Warren would have ended up unviable, what do you think you would have done? Non-viable?
I would not have gone non-viable.
I heard somebody here. Well, the only choice would have been Bernie. Would you have done it? Ringing endorsement. But yeah, no, I mean that's about it.
Yeah, Nikki Smith, N-I-K-I Smith.
Thanks so much. All right, that is it from Drake University. The next caucuses will be the regularly scheduled ones at 7 o'clock p.m. You'll be able to watch those all over the place. Check back at TYT all night, of course. So to recap, 5 delegates for Bernie Sanders, 2 for Elizabeth Warren, 0 for Michael Bennet and everybody else. Now let's see if I can figure out how to turn this thing off.